Ed Reardon's Week by Christopher Douglas and Andrew Nichols. Episode 6, The Libel Action.
Hello. Can I speak to someone connected with the Council's Towards a Brighter Berkhamsted campaign? Well, yes, it could be either of those departments because it is an environmental issue, but it's also, as you may have deduced from the tone of my voice, a complaint. Monday. What was it exactly that made local councils the length and breadth of the country decide that all new street furniture should sanctify the Victorian era? It seems no town centre is complete without gold and black painted bollards, cast-iron signs pointing gothically to the disabled toilets in the short-stay car park, and perpetually dripping hanging baskets, making a trip to the newsagent for the innocent pipe smoker an unwarranted hazard. And whereas 150 years ago small boys used to be sent up chimneys or down the mines, now the 12-year-olds are given six-figure salaries to come up with slogans such as, "It's time to big up Burko," the inspirational text which shouts at me from my morning mail. Yes, I'm looking at the letter concerning the renovations to the parade of shops above which I live. Yes, it seems I'm being asked to contribute £900 towards the carving of the words Parade Emporiums on the pediment above my flat. Well, I'll tell you exactly what's wrong with it. It could hardly be a less appropriate heading for a nail bar, a chip shop and a hairdresser's stroke tattoo parlour, even if the correct usage Emporia were to be applied, which I don't suppose is at all likely. Well, look, I have no desire to be accused of child abuse this early in the day, but if you think for a moment that I'm prepared to fork out for a piece of bogus Victoriana, which I neither want nor recognise as the correct plural form, then... hello? No, gone.
£900, Ed? Oh, yes, that is pretty steep.
Not to mention the indignity of living beneath a solecism.
Mind you, that's what it costs these days. Mad Charlie Mackay's headstone set the agency back a couple of thou in mason's fees. It would have been 2.5 if I hadn't insisted they left off the mad.
I didn't know Charlie had died.
But it rather caught us on the hop here when the papers started yelling for the obit. We dug out the old one, and it turned out we'd missed 2 wives and an appearance on Ready Steady Cook. We had hate mail for weeks.
That's the last lot I'm bringing up, Felix. It's just sick. Some of these aren't even ill.
It has to be done. I want every single client's obituary updated.
Including Charlotte Church and Basil Brush, Felix. Still, at least you can cross Desert Orchid off the list.
Oh, hi, Ed. Oh, of course you did Desi's autobiography.
All but the final polish. We fell out, I'm afraid.
I've just had an absolute brainwave.
Not Nigel Mansell's Love Poetry Volume 2.
No, I've learnt my lesson on that the hard way. Jensen Button, on the other hand...
Felix.
No, I'm sorry, I'm not writing any more motor racing poems. Rhyming Silverstone with Formula 1 was humiliating enough.
Now, you say you need £900 quickly. I'll pay you 100 smackers if you'll take all these obituaries off Ping's hands and freshen them up, as they say.
Are you sure Ed's the right person? I mean, they're meant to be tributes, yeah?
Yes, but if he thinks about them being dead, it'll put him in a more forgiving mood.
Possibly. What about the other £800?
Well, go and write a book or something, you lazy bugger. Oh, how are you on the Gulf War?
No, I'm sorry, I refuse to make personal gain out of an illegal act of aggression.
Ed, that is so gay.
Oh, what have they done to that wonderful old English word? It used to mean screaming queer. Now it merely describes feebleness.
Values are collapsing everywhere, Felix.
Doors closing.
Which floor, sir?
The Ottoman suite, please.
You're visiting Mr. Jas Milvain, my favourite filmmaker.
Is he?
And I'm not just saying that because he's such a generous tipper.
You obviously haven't seen the latest Dermot the Talking Dolphin opus.
No, but the DVD's on my wedding list.
The girl gets her sight back after the dolphin donates his cornea.
Oh, thanks.
Doors opening.
Just in case no one gets it for you. Tuesday. Whenever another so-called film by Jas Milvain limps onto the screen, or in this case splashes, it being the third in the Dermot series, I normally derive a good deal of pleasure out of writing abusive letters to the film company, disrupting any phone-in programmes Jas appears on, and generally sabotaging his promotional campaign in any way I can. However, in my capacity as official obituarist, I now had to suppress any opinions of my own and maintain an icy impartiality. This is just fact-checking, Jazz, but the Police Academy series...
What about it?
Was it number 12 or 13 you were entrusted with?
14. 13 was never made. They thought it'd be bad luck.
It certainly was for you. Wasn't it around then that they stopped calling you the most promising filmmaker of his generation and the words unfulfilled and money-grubbing started to appear?
Hang on, whatever happened to never speak ill of the dead? I wasn't this unkind when I wrote your obituary.
When did you do that?
After you had your heart attack. Somebody had to say something. Unfortunately, I was the one who picked up the phone.
So what did you write?
I can't remember now, just tossed off a few words of rubbish. Now, listen. Why don't you put this petty jealousy and spite of yours to some good use?
I rather thought that's what I was doing.
I've had an idea that could make us both a bit of pocket money. Now, there's a film magazine wants to do a profile of me while I'm in town. Milvain of the movies, something like that.
Well, if it's alliteration they're after, what's wrong with Jazz of the Junk?
Shut up. Thing is, I can hand-pick my own interviewer.
I'm sorry, Jazz. It's very thoughtful of you, but I don't think I possess the necessary toadying qualifications.
Not even for 50 grand?
Good heavens. How many words do they want for that?
OK, here's the pitch. You write a profile in your own inimitable Reardon style. I threaten to sue the magazine for libel when the piece appears. They settle out of court, and we split the proceeds. Should be about 100k. I checked with Catherine Zeta-Jones. Sweet girl.
Oh, this is a very tempting proposition, Jazz. But what's this magazine done to earn your wrath?
They were very rude indeed about my first Dermot the Dolphin movie.
Oh, outrageous. They deserve all they get. Why do you need a quick 50 grand? I thought you were on, what is it, 3 million a picture?
4. Let's just say there's a certain actress back in LA getting a bit stroppy about DNA testing.
Don't worry, Jazz. That won't make it to the obituary.
Good boy.
It was a pity that the searing honesty with which she portrayed the people of Brixton was at odds with her over-reliance on plastic surgery and contact lenses, instead of the spectacles provided by the National Health Service, which she, as a socialist, in quotes, professed to support. That'll teach her to be Young Novelist of the Year. And another one bites the dust. And print. What shall we do now, Elgar? Have some cheese on toast? Or shall we treat ourselves to another couple of paragraphs of Milvain of the movies? Wednesday. Pleasant as it is to update the obituaries of Felix's client list and put my own spin on their illustrious careers, it is as nothing compared to the profound intellectual satisfaction of sticking the knife in the back, front and sides of Jazz Milvain in return for a great deal of money. In short, the perfect writing assignment. The secret of a really successful character assassination is to adhere scrupulously to the truth, which is why I'm quoting extensively from Jazz's first and second wives' diaries, and the mission statement that he delivered in authentic dolphin language to the cast and crew of Dermot Goes to Washington. Click, click, clickety, click, 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 went Jazz, as did VCR players throughout the Western world, as their owners switched off this straight-to-video monstrosity? No, obscenity, I think. Could the name of Milvain sink any further into the mire? Yes, with the release in 1999 of Titanic 2.
Ed, give that to me.
What?
That piece of paper you've just taken out of the client's file.
I haven't taken anything. I was merely adding to the updated obituaries I brought in, which I might say involved no small amount of time and research. Do you think I might have a little more milk in this?
Don't try and hide it in your shorts. Give it to me.
No.
Right. I'll come and get it then. Ed.
Now, Reardon, stop that at once. You've been told before about chasing my staff round the office.
I wasn't. Ping was chasing me.
Huh, very likely.
Got it. Oh, Ed. Trying to read your own obituary? That's so sad. It's like looking your name up in the phone book.
I don't see what's wrong with that either. Confirms one's existence when there's nothing in the Radio Times. I just wondered what inexcusable calumnies Jazz had written about me.
That's so paranoid.
I call it cheating. Give it to me, Ping. I'll put it somewhere safe.
No, Felix. Oh, God.
What do you mean?
Nothing. It's all right.
No? What?
Oh, those Wimbledon Centre Court tickets. You put them somewhere safe, and Nick Hornby had to watch the final on TV. That's why we lost him.
Better off without him.
No, we're not.
Which one was he?
Just let me have a look, a peek. That's all I'm asking for, Pip.
No. Now, out of my office, both of you. I've got 24 post-it notes to deal with. 3 of them pink.
Oh, dear. Warpath. Come on, Ed.
So what Jazz had said about me would remain locked away, revealed to my descendants, but unfairly not to me. What I had said about him, however, would soon be readily available to the readers of Movie-tastic magazine, whose naive and unsuspecting editor had declared herself well chuffed with the piece, undertaking to clear the decks and accommodate it in the issue just going to press. Anything that hastens my share of Jazz's libel settlement can only be welcomed, especially as this evening's creative writing class would be the last before the summer break, meaning a £20 per week shortfall in the Reardon income, currently running at roughly £20 per week.
As Dr. Johnson said...
Can we hear something you've said for once?
Yes, just a moment. But Dr. Johnson said, no man is on oath when speaking at a friend's funeral. And the same can be said of the task facing the obituary writer. So, subtext is very much the theme of this evening's seminar.
What if he was a wrong 'un?
Who?
This dead friend of yours. Or queer?
Stan?
Well, in the latter case, one might say he remained unmarried.
Or she. There's a lot of them around now. They don't bother hiding it either.
And if, as you suggest, he was a criminal, no respecter of pettifogging bureaucracy.
I get it. Dressing it up with long words.
Exactly. So, convivial companion is hopeless drunk, didn't suffer fools gladly means pompous egomaniac.
It's a bit like doing clues in the crossword.
Very much so. Now then.
They've dropped the coffee time crossword from the mail.
Aye. Sacrificed on the altar of, what is it? Suzuki. And to think we went through the war.
Anyway, let me try one on you. Say someone had been an out-and-out fascist who kept shotguns in his greenhouse.
What about he didn't always see eye to eye with the prevailing political climate?
Very good, Olive.
Hang on a minute. I do that. You calling me a Nazi?
No, not so. All Olive is saying is...
You're your own man, Stan.
Exactly so, Pearl. It's a question of subtext.
Tell you what, there wasn't much subtext in the magazine article you wrote about that film director broke.
I wouldn't have put you down as a movie-tastic subscriber.
Put the boot in good and proper there. Thought Jazz Milvain was meant to be a friend of yours. You're always saying he is.
It's the rough and tumble of creative life. When two artists know and respect each other as we do, there must be no quarter asked nor given.
So you're envious of him, then?
That's subtext for you.
Is Movie-tastic that magazine with the free Jennifer Aniston flip-flops?
You're a day late. I've already given them to my niece.
Oh.
Saved myself the price of a birthday present.
So as well as being your own man, you also know the value of money.
Oh, a Nazi and a cheapskate. You got 2 there. I'm quite good at this.
Yes.
It's the talentless megalomaniac has-been here.
Hello, Jazz. Read the profile, then?
I have. Feel better for that, do you?
Merely fulfilling the brief. And in the process, I might say, helping us along the way to being £100,000 better off.
More, probably. After what you wrote about me at the Miramax party. What is that racket?
It's the council attacking both the outside of my flat and the English language. What exactly do you mean by more?
I'm not going to be satisfied with a piddling £100,000 settlement. I'm going to close those jokers down.
But we will get the settlement first, won't we?
Oh, yeah. We're going all the way with this. We're going to squeeze them till their pips squeak, then we're going to rip the pips out and hang them out to dry.
Oh, excellent. You could even strap some explosives to one of your dolphins and send it up the Thames.
Shut up. You've done enough damage.
Then it could turn left at the London Eye, somersault over the Dome, fire a rocket at the Gherkin. No, gone. What on earth are you doing now?
What's it look like? Putting up a Victorian barber's pole.
But it's going to cut out half my light. I need it to work by.
I tell you what you need, mate. To get out of those pyjamas. It's tea time.
Thursday. Living conditions at the flat continue to deteriorate. In the interests of brightening up Berkhamsted, it is apparently essential that I should have a film of white plaster covering the tools of my trade. Keyboard, glass of whiskey, box of Maltesers, even my cat, who pads around like a phantom in the darkened room, as I sit here in state gathering dust like Miss Havisham. The gloom is not so sepulchral, however, that I cannot see the letter from Dacorum Borough Council demanding an additional £250 for my stakeholders' share in the barber's pole, payable immediately or else. Would that the law worked so swiftly in my favour. In the absence of any news concerning Jazz's libel action payout, I must be content with £10 for blowing the jug with the Bayou Boys, an engagement that does at least get the dust out of my lungs.
Thank you very much, everybody. Safe journey home. And a word of advice. Never believe what you read in the papers. I never laid a finger on her. Yeah.
I'd keep quiet if I were you, Jazz.
Bit of damage limitation, thanks to our friend on the jug with the big mouth.
When I had my little bit of bother in Ruislip, I kept stum. Squared everything with her mum, and the missus never knew a thing about it.
Mind you had your mates covering for you, Frank.
Yeah, some friend you are, Ed.
I just wrote the truth as I saw it.
Well, I'm going to back you up anyway. I've been that letter that the lawyers sent me.
Which lawyers?
I had one of those lawyers' letters too.
Which lawyers?
The ones for the magazine. They wanted to know if it was true that you can't play the trumpet.
Or if you just stand there with your cheeks puffed out and play a tape.
I did that once, when I had toothache.
Did you? I didn't know that.
Well, you wrote the article.
Well, I write a lot of things. I mean, I wrote Tenko. That doesn't mean I've spent 2 years in the jungle in a flowery dress.
Oh, yeah, they wanted to know if you ever worn a basket and suspenders at the Limelight Club.
That was the christening of Madonna's first baby. Come on, guys, give me a break.
Sounds like they're planning to fight the case.
So what does this mean, exactly?
It means that you're going to have to send those shorts to Sketchless, or you'll be in contempt of court.
Hi, Ed. I'm really pleased you've come in. I was going to call you.
Now then, I think this whole business is getting out of hand.
You're right. Movie-tastic just put on an extra 20,000 this issue. I want you to do loads more of this acid stuff in a regular column.
Normally, I'd be more than happy to oblige.
We'll print a picture of you at the top like that monk in the Da Vinci Code, only you're flagellising everyone else. Cruz is crap, Looney Clooney, Paltrow's pants.
Oh, really? I think there's far too much of this bitching and backbiting. You know, Emily, I think we should support each other more.
You've lost me, Ed. What are you saying?
Well, I was watching a couple of Jazz Milvain's movies last night, and I thought, you know, he's not half a bad director. So, can't we just settle this action out of court, pay him off, give him his money? Doesn't have to be much, as long as it's more than £2,000. Actually, 1,800.
But what you wrote was right, Ed. He's rubbish.
It's not easy, you know, Hollywood. Working in a tank with a fish that's not a professional.
Don't go nice on me, Ed. Everything you put in that article is true.
I know, but you're very young. When you get to my age, you realise that the only really important thing in life is a little understanding.
Now you're talking like the bloody dolphin. Here's the reality. We're fighting this case all the way. Jazz Milvain isn't going to get a penny. He's toast.
Doors closing.
Ottoman suite, please.
Going to see Mucky Milvain?
I thought he was your favourite film director.
He was till I read that piece. He has to use the stairs now. I want my lift smelling of sandalwood, not sleaze.
But you'd say he was a generous tipper. Would you be prepared to say that in court as a character witness?
What? To lose £82.50 for a morning's work? No, I would not.
£82.50 for essentially going up and down all day. I mean, I realise there's the politeness as well.
That can't be taught.
And presumably there are quiet periods when you're stationary, or you could stop between floors if you wanted to read, say, until summoned.
Doors open.
Here you are. Satan's lair.
Yeah.
You've got to call this libel action off now.
Hey,
Jack.
listen to this. Just a couple of things I've jotted down for my big speech to the jury. Who steals my purse steals trash, but he that filches from me my good name robs me of that which not enriches him.
Oh, you really are a fraud, aren't you? That's from Othello.
Well, the jury won't know that, and Alan Dershowitz is American, so he certainly won't know.
What's his role in this?
He's our brief.
What?
All right, lawyer. Good, you're such a pedant.
No, it was the hour I was querying.
Well, it's 50-50 this, straight down the line. Anyway, the Dersh is the best in the game. He got Klaus von Bülow off. Jeremy Irons won an Oscar, you see? Top man. If we win this, there's a very big buck in it for both of us.
There's an if in there as well now, is there?
Everything's an if, mate. If you hadn't written the piece, we wouldn't be in this mess.
Oh, it's a mess too, is it?
Friday. The news that the best in the game had been retained at several $1,000s an hour was about as comforting as the letter from the council's solicitors, warning me of court action if I did not pay the outstanding £1,150 for refurbishing leasehold properties. Breathing conditions in the flat, as the final illiterate touches were added to the word emporiums, were now impossible, and I took myself off to the public library. Further bad news awaited me there as I idly scanned through a law encyclopedia. The fact that whereas legal aid seems to be available to asylum seekers, wife-beaters, and probably contraveners of the congestion charge too, there seems to be no such lifebelt thrown to hard-up plaintiffs in a libel case.
Hi, Ed. Giving the shorts another day out in London?
Yes, I brought in the last of the client's obituaries, Pink. Worth a good deal more than 100, I'd say.
Great.
I'll put them in here, shall I?
Yeah.
In this filing cabinet?
Whatever. Look, do you mind, Ed? I've got Ricky Gervais on my iPod.
Sorry, you clearly mustn't be disturbed, so I'll just put them in here, then. Ah.
Looking for something, Ed?
No? Why?
Don't bother. I had to hide your obituary again. Jazz was looking for it this time. Said he just wanted to change a few things. You boys.
Typical Jazz. There always has to be a sequel.
That is so funny.
Thank you, Pink.
No, this podcast. He does all the Flanimal voices too. And David Brent. What a guy.
Yes, indeed. I do hope I get to do his obituary. I'd do it for nothing. In the meantime, I rather need to get paid. When might I expect that to happen?
Oh, Ed, can't it wait?
No, my cat and I are casting hungry eyes at each other.
Oh, you see, the agency's working flat out on Jazz's court case. It's all hands to the pump, yeah?
And that includes the accounts department, does it?
Yeah, 'cause Atalanta's away at Champneys. Hey, you know what could be really interesting? When she comes back, you could have a competition. See who's lost most weight. Who's going to look fittest on the beach.
I'll tell you a very good way to lose weight. Work as a writer for 30 years, subsist on a diet of broken promises and lame excuses. Lose pounds as well as your marriage, your collection of first editions, the respect of your children, and your dignity. I shall now go down to the embankment and join the queue for the self-employed author's soup kitchen. Today's special cream of bile.
Actually, the writer's diet. That's quite a good idea. Ed?
Oh, hello, Mr. Reardon. Been to the seaside?
No, just home. My flat's like a building site thanks to the municipal improvements taking place.
Tell me about it. We've had them round the neck here. That Victorian blue lamp took 10 days to put up. Somebody's got paid a big fat fee for coming up with all that. Well, it's not me, I can tell you. I'm stuck here like Dixon and Doc Green, except without his pension.
Ah, yeah. Well, talking of money, I was wondering if there was any identity parade work in the offing.
Not looking like Robinson Crusoe, I'm afraid. Oh, wait, what am I talking about? It's the Nebworth Festival next weekend. You'd be ideal for some of those shoplifting hippies, because they're none of them as young as they used to be. Well, who is? I know I'm not. You know, sometimes I wake up in the morning...
Yes, and I just... Is there nothing a bit sooner than that?
Can't help you, I'm afraid.
I noticed a few of the squad cars out there could do with a clean.
Sorry, that job's been promised to a couple of ex-head teachers. People are living longer, that's the problem.
How exactly they managed to do that remains a mystery.
But look, I'll put you down for the full 3 days for the ID parade next week.
I'm very grateful, as I find myself involved in a court case and...
Oh, dear.
Well, no, I might win.
No. I do wish you hadn't told me that.
Friday. More legal asininity. It seems that along with bankrupts, lunatics and members of the House of Lords, those involved in litigation are not permitted to take part in identity parades, an ancient and idiotic bylaw which probably extends to voting and, for all I know, eating swans as well, though I'm quite prepared to risk prosecution for the latter offence, popping down to the canal after nightfall with a screwdriver and a bin liner, as my desperation has now reached Dostoevskian proportions.
It's Jazz. Listen, I've decided that we're going to pull out of this lawsuit. It's not worth all the hassle. I've got a movie to do. Terminal 4, please. So, we're going to cut our losses. The Durst has been very good about it, only billing us for a couple of days' work. So it's a straight $20,000. I'll need your check for 10 as soon as you can manage it. Sooner rather than later.
Well, he can whistle for that. What's the worst he can do?
Or I'll tell Dersh's associates where you live and I guess they'll have you killed.
Right.
Try for now, Chuck.
Hi Ed, it's Emily at Movietastic. Great news! Jazz Milvain's backed off and is shrieking for mercy like Orlando Bloom in Pirates of the Caribbean. And we've put a cheque for 250 doubloons in the post for the piece, yeah?
Ah.
Of course you are liable for half our legal fees, like it says in that piece of paper you signed indemnifying us. So, in with the cheque, you'll find an invoice for a cheeky 10 grand. That's pounds, not doubloons. Bye!
We need to lie low for a while. Who shall we be, Elgar? Well, you can be Shostakovich. All right, Percy Granger, then. I shall be... Let's see who's just died. Ah, the man who cheated on Countdown. Yes, that's one of mine. Oh, Ed Reardon. What a coincidence. One of the most coruscating and original voices of his generation, though never given his due in fashionable London circles. My God, who's written this? Appreciation by Jazz Milvain. Well, now. Ed Reardon remained steadfastly his own man and was no respecter of pettifogging bureaucracy. Oh, yeah.
Monday. By what Byzantine confusion Ping had allowed my obituary to be sent to the newspapers on the same day as a genuinely deceased client may never be known. I suspect a combination of post-it notes and the rival attractions of Ricky Gervais's mid-morning podcast. But the error placed me in an interesting position. Should I allow the somewhat exaggerated report of my death to remain unchallenged, thereby allowing me to disappear and give all my creditors the slip? Or should I rise, Lazarus-like, from the obituary page and enjoy the ensuing publicity? An appearance on the Today programme, perhaps, an amusing article for the Weekend Telegraph, and the Holy Grail, being Jonathan Agnew's lunchtime guest on Test Match Special.
Ping, have you seen the Times? It seems we've lost 2 clients.
2? I know the Countdown guy snuffed it. Do-do-do-do-do-do-do-do.
And Ed Reardon, too.
Oh, shame. Actually, it is, because we'd just had this good idea for a diet book.
Hey-ho, we survive. Onwards and upwards.
Downwards, Red.
It sounds a callous thing to say, but did we ever pay him that £100 we owed him?
No.
Oh, well, that's something. Actually, it's a starter and a bottle of fizz and the Caprice. Why don't I take you out to lunch and we'll raise a glass to the old boy?
Wherever he is.
Where to, Chief?
Let's see, how far will £7.64 get me and my cat?
Rattle it.
Very well. Come on, Elgar. I mean, Percy.
Ed Reardon's Week starred Christopher Douglas, with Stephanie Cole, David Cann, John Fortune, Simon Greenall, Sally Hawkins, Philip Jackson, Alice Lowe, Rita May, and Geoffrey Whitehead. It was written by Christopher Douglas and Andrew Nichols. Technical jiggery-pokery was by Alec Hale-Monroe, Alison Mackenzie, and Carl Phillips. The producer was Simon Nichols.